myself, I am an engineering manager in Red Hat. I was a QE manager around some time ago. So after COVID, spending 2 years at home, I picked up travel and photography as hobbies. And I'm also very famous on LinkedIn for my tech humor and memes and all that. And you'll probably see glimpses of that in today's talk as well. All right, so what happens with the background in testing? I developed this skill of observing things minutely, and then trying to figure out whether the things that happen to us are those things already named. There can be a phenomenon or something, or a paradox or something in some other discipline like economics or game theory. So one fine day I discovered this prisoner's dilemma, and then I thought that it actually defines a lot of things that we as testers go through on a daily basis. So today's talk is about prisoner's dilemma and how it manifests in our lives as testers. And then I'll also talk about what can your managers or your organization do to make it better, and what can you do individually to make it better. And then in the end, we'll leave some time for Q&A. Okay? All right. Okay. So this thing is called prisoner's dilemma. Think about a scenario. Two thieves, let's say Sonu and Monu, for the lack of names, were caught by police. And once they were caught, they were kept in separate cells. The police did not let them talk to each other. Okay? Now the thing was, police tried to persuade both Sonu and Monu individually to blame the other person and take less punishment. Or you can also keep quiet and you will get the 1 year. So if you look at this grid, so it tells you what kind of punishment in years would each person get. So C means cooperate. Cooperate means they keep quiet. They don't blame their partner. And D means defect. Defect means they blame their partner. So kind of they turn the approver for police. So let's say the orange one is Sonu and the blue one is Monu. If Monu cooperates and Sonu cooperates, in that particular situation, both of them would get 1 year each, which is the best possible scenario for the group. Both Sonu and Monu's thieving incorporation. And then if let's say Sonu cooperates but Monu defects, right? Sonu says stays quiet, but Monu says that Sonu did the robbery. In that case, Sonu goes free and Monu gets 10 years, which is not a good thing for the group. But individually, for Sonu, it's a good thing because he didn't even get one year, right? So these are all possible scenarios, right? In the classic definition of prisoner's dilemma. That's why it's called prisoner's dilemma, because both of them at that point are prisoners, right? So while making this judgment, put yourself in the shoes of either of these thieves, right? So you have a dilemma in mind. Either I stay quiet or I name my partner. So normally we would think that both of them would stay quiet. But do you think there is a thing called ethics and trust in thieves? So it is a saying that there is honor among thieves, but especially in petty thieves, I don't know. Are they friends or something? Can they trust each other? Because they are doing the wrong thing, right? Unlawful thing by stealing or robbing people. So while if I put myself in the shoes of Monu, I want to keep quiet and cooperate for the betterment of group, but I also have a feeling that what if Sonu turns approval for the police, right? In that case, I'll get 10. So this is a dilemma now, correct? My individual gain versus overall benefit of the group. Now let's take the same example and put that in our daily lives. How many of you live in gated societies or apartments? Please raise your hands. Right. And how many of you have house helps or maids? Excellent. I also live in a gated society in Magarpata, and we also have house help. One day I realized that my wife, while accidentally checking her WhatsApp, was part of the society ladies group in which they used to communicate with each other and talk about limiting the price that they pay the maids for let's say cleaning and then dishes and laundry and everything. So putting a cap on the price. So all the ladies in the society are cooperating, talking to each other, and which is betterment of the group, right? But let's say Adi and his family, as new owners of a flat in our society, join our society. Both of them are working. They need a maid. They put a message in the society WhatsApp group, and the maid comes. But she is asking, let's say 2,000. But the ladies group has decided that no more than 1,500 has to be given to any maid. But they really need the maid, right? And the maid is not agreeing on 1,500. So what should Adi and his family do now? Should they give the maid 2,000, or should they still contribute to household chores together? So this is now for Adi and his family. This is a situation of prisoner's dilemma, right? Individual benefit, 500 extra doesn't mean anything for a person as rich as Adi, right? So, but by giving those extra 500, he's kind of spoiling the society rate, which is not good for the group overall. So if this maid gets 2,000, that means that after 15 days, every other maid would ask for 2,000, right? Now turn the tables. Look from a domestic hell point of view. Why don't they form a union or a WhatsApp group and talk among themselves that nobody among us is going to work in any of the flat if they give us less than 2,000. Right? That's again cooperation. But maybe one of them has some really pressing need for money. Right? They are agreeing to work for 1,500 as well. But if one is working for 1,500 and they are not talking to each other, then possibly a lot of other would start, because then the owners would have the example, right? Sunita is working for 1,500. Why are you asking for 2,000? Correct? So what do you learn from this scenario? Cooperation is good for betterment of the group overall, but we in our daily lives face these situations in work and life and everywhere, but we don't realize it's a dilemma, because most of us would choose personal benefit, right? Okay, but the thing is, unlike household chores, software development is a team activity. It's not an individual sport, right? You cannot sit in your garage and build an operating system. I mean, people used to do it, but now most of the modern Hello.
So moving on to the next report, here the defects are categorized based on its priority, the type of the defect, whether it's INC or a software or the environment defect, and the average processing time taken by the resolver group to fix a defect based on its priority. Also, this page shows the top applications which are impacted or the most number of tickets are raised for. Till now, we have seen the defect analysis irrespective of their service. In this page, we will be only focusing on the open defects which are open. So you can see the same kind of info, but all the defects shown in this page are related, are open. Moving on to next, this is a page where all the defects are listed which are raised till now for the project. So this can act as a repository for that particular project and act as a centralized platform for all the defects raised. Now let's move on to the technical part, how these data are extracted and mapped. So as you can see, defect data using Python, Selenium, API calls, Excel macros, we have created various scripts based on the requirement. And using these scripts, the data is extracted from each tool, and then these data are transformed into a single column, into a unique column headers, because each data is diverse. And using some business logic, we are processing the data and bringing into a single data set. And then these data are stored on SharePoint, which is later on feeded to Power BI. Similar for test execution, we have created a mapping folder which stores all the test labs, all the JQL queries required for extracting the test execution data. Once extracted, it's few other, we have codes which drill downs the data where link defects, data for plan versus actual, and execution summary details are extracted and stored in SharePoint. And similarly, this is fed onto Power BI. Now, how this works? So we have first scheduler which extracts the data from all these tools, transforms, process, and then loads to Power BI. Now, we have the second scheduler where this will basically refresh the Power BI which is stored onto a cloud. So in this way, the complete reporting is being done. Now conclusion. Unlike ordinary report, this reporting brings in multiple features that how much testers had to burn their efforts to rerun the test cases. Also, it brought multiple improvements in we have the historical data with us, which can be used later on for identifying the recurring issues and to find out the areas of improvements. Also, this helped us to improve the collaboration and communication with the stakeholders, which helped us a lot and to gain customer loyalty. That's it. Any questions from anyone?
We have only 1 minute, so just one question quickly.
Hi. So in your key benefits of reporting, you have mentioned one of the blocks saying the root cause analysis of defect. So it's very critical to root cause because you need server logs, app logs, event logs. So how defect analysis is done? I mean, root causing, I want to understand.
Okay, we have asked the resolver to take, whenever they fix any issue, to update all the details which they can provide. So once the data is provided in the ticket or the defect, it will then be extracted later on, and later on we have the historical data with us. So with that we can analyze those logs and take action accordingly. So as I mentioned, we have historical data with us.
Okay.
Hope so it's answered.
So we'll take further questions. You can discuss further during the break also on this topic. Thanks Priyanka and Akhil for wonderful session. Now moving on to our next session is leveraging an AI-driven BDD for test design automation. Why not use acceptance criteria to auto build the test? test cases by Saby, Saurabh, Bhardwaj. Let's welcome Saby. Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm sure I'm coming between your lunch, and I'll make sure that I cover that up. So my name is Saby, Saurabh, Bhardwaj. I have got more than 20 years of experience. I started as a developer. I went to as a development manager. I did program management. I did operations, and then last 10 years with QA. So I've seen all the life cycles. I started with manufacturing. I went to retail. I went to telecom, and now I'm in fintech. So I've seen that sector also. This is my 4th year with ATA GTR. Last year I was talking about blockchain testing. This time I've come back with some AI that we have implemented in our test design automation. So I'll talk about that. Priya is a great fan of Star Trek, and I'm a great fan of Panchatantra. And I always read those stories and I try to build some correlation, some analogy. So I'll start with a short story. So the story happens in Akbar's area where they had this food grains and the sugar which got messed up, buggy code, in an organization buggy code. Now Akbar said, I don't have time to put so many people to remove the grains and the sugar, so I'm going to throw this entire lot. What happens to our product team? Sometimes they say buggy code, pick those two, we'll start fresh. But then we had an AI agent, Birbal. He came back and said, no, just give me 24 hours, we'll fix this. What he did is he got the mixed up grain and sugar and put near the mango trees. In the day, they spread the entire mixed up thing in the below a mango tree and then said, let's come back after 24 hours. After 24 hours they came back. Do you know what happened? Any guesses? Yes. So there were these AI agents, the ants. What did they do? They took away the sugar and left the grains there. And that's what happened in our organization. Sometimes you look for this AI agent to help you solve some problems. So that was a story that I brought in. I hope you made sense. So when I joined this organization, I was given one-liner requirement, build testing as a service and left shift the testing. Give it to the developers, let's build something. So I was asked to build a test platform which can do by itself. So now if you see in a testing world, there are two important things. One is the test execution, which I am sure everybody of you know is automated. There are various tools which do test execution automation. But the first piece, the test design, is where the critical thing happens, where we sometimes get a little challenged. How do I automate that? Because a lot of time goes in creating the test scripts. So what I'm going to talk about in this is how in our organization, we use some of the AI tools and we help build this test design automation. So now the test design is automated, the execution is automated, we run through pipelines, and the entire flow we are trying to automate it so that by the morning when the developer comes, it's created the test cases, it's executed, and the defects are posted. So that's all about it, and this is a real scenario that we have done in our industry. Because of some secrecy, I have not revealed everything because it's project specific, but I'm trying to give as much as possible. So that's it. That's about me. Yeah, so I talked about that we are using the AI-driven PDD analysis. Now the industry struggles with lack of standardized test design automation. I think we all know the challenges. Manual test case scripting takes a lot of time. So that's the entire the talk that I'm going to give about. Now let's look at some of the numbers. What does Gartner say? It says 30% you can immediately reduce by in the testing cost by doing the AI-driven test automation. McKinsey says that 20 to 40% efficiency companies bring by investing in AI. Xeon, a market research, says a compounded annual growth in test automation from 23 to 30 would be 18.3%. And IBM says that large percentage of large enterprise embracing AI is around 60% of the companies are doing that. So these are just the numbers, these are just the guidelines to show how much of focus is going and how much benefit it can bring in. I mean, you can look at these organizations and the reputed ones that have put that. Now let's look at a high-level solution. Our problem was very simple. I mean, this is part of the problem that I'm presenting. The proposed solution leverages an AI to automate.